One time I was in a meeting and somebody said something to the effect that communication is everything. What if that is true? What would you do about that? Say maybe you are in business and you have to do with communicating your message to the people. Would that make any sense to you? What if you happen to be in front of an expert in communication and marketing and you want to ask such individual some questions to better understand how to leverage the power of communication and marketing in your business? What kind of question would you ask him or her? Well, I have such an opportunity today because I'm going to be interviewing an expert in this area, Dr. Ike, who is going to be joining us from Nigeria. Do you want to learn what he will say? Then let's get started.
My name is Nwakerendu Ike. I'm a marketing communications professional of over 16 years with a doctorate in communication, precisely mass communication. And most of my professional life have been in the corporate. And basically, I am someone who is a multifaceted person in that apart from my marketing professional work, I also do corporate training and business strategy consulting. But aside all those things, I'm also a relationship coach. So if you have seen my posts on LinkedIn where we met, you will discover that it comprises of a variety of areas. And I've also authored some books. And I like to engage with people to learn because I am someone who believes in continuous personal improvement and also wanting to understand various aspects of things that happen in life. So I'm a continuous learner. I believe that when people are open to learning, they are able to interact better with others because they will reduce their prejudices. People who are not open to learning, they always have certain things they believe that may not be true, and then they will be responding to others based on that. Okay, meanwhile, such things may not be true. So I like to open my mind and learn from others. Maybe because also growing up, I have lived in different parts of Nigeria, born in the East, grew up in the East, but then sojourned in the North for years. And now I'm living in the Western part of the country. So, and I'm married to somebody who is not from my own ethnic group. So I just believe that you should be open to interact with people from all walks of life and learn from them.
I appreciate that. Could you please let me know about your background? Where exactly were you born? Anything you can share with us in that line? Thank you.
Okay, so like I said, I grew up in the East, precisely in a town called Ndikelion in Orumba North local government area of Anambra State. And it's a large family I came from. Then growing up, I was, what would you call a church boy? My family were always engaged in church activities, were known to be people who are committed in serving. And I think that actually helped someone like me to develop the mindset of service. Okay, so already from that teenage age, you are leading the youth group, having the opportunity to participate in various activities that gives you the chance to impact other people's lives and have your life impacted also. Okay, so my dad passed on when I was 16, and that somehow was going to affect certain things about my life. But then I finished my secondary school eventually, because I was in secondary school then, and then had the opportunity of moving with someone to the north where the person wanted to sponsor me to the higher institution. Among all of my siblings, the person chose that, okay, he would like to take me along so that I would be servicing his small business while he saw me through the higher institution. Somehow, it didn't really work out as planned because the admission didn't come. If anyone who is familiar with Nigerian system, you would understand that in some situations you might be in some part of the country because you are not born from that side, you are not an indigene of that part of the country. You might struggle with getting certain things, and so that's what happened to me in the north. I was scoring the right scores for the UME, but when it comes to admission, I wasn't going to be considered. In fact, at some point, I was told to change my name and adopt a local government in Kaduna State, where I stayed, so that I could get admission.
That's interesting.
So, but eventually I got admission in the East while living in the North, So I had to school in the East. I went to Anambra State University, which is now called, I think, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University. So that's where I studied my first degree and came out first class before I proceeded to other. And then, of course, from that north, I came to serve in Lagos youth service. And then after the youth service, I have remained in Lagos because firstly, where I served, they retained me. And then I continued my life, did my master's before I got another opportunity to work somewhere else, and then went on for my PhD and all that. So it will interest you that one thing that is really part of my life story is that within that period when I was trying to gain admission into the higher institution, I ended up spending 6 years plus before I was able to go to school from the time I finished my secondary school. Okay, but today you don't know, nobody knows about that because I have gone ahead to live my life beyond all those setbacks, all those delays, and that's one of the things that also inspire me because I discovered that you might have or feel like you have some deprivations because of one delay or the other. If you don't stop, you will overcome all those things and still get to the places that you thought you were being deprived of getting to.
That reminds me of the old saying, delay is not always a deny. So thank you so much for that sharing. Now, could you please let me know at what time in your life did you consider marketing? When did you actually dive into marketing as a major area of concentration?
That's really an interesting question because, like I said, I studied mass communication. And in mass communication, you have marketing and advertising, you have broadcasting, you had print and journalism. Okay, then you also had development communication. Today, most of these things have also been expanded. If you understand the system now, you know that MarCom as a course has been broken down into about 7 areas of study. But all these 7 areas were all in MarCom. Okay, so I focused on broadcasting. I liked broadcasting. And that was my chosen area. I liked broadcasting and development communication. So, but broadcasting was my focused area when I wrote my project in my first degree. And even at my master's level, I also focused on broadcasting. Okay, even though I eventually did not concentrate on that. I had to expand to that development communication because then I had been able to interact during my youth service to do things in community development and all that. But then I was going to get a job in that area and got a job to serve in corporate communication department of an organization. So that was my introduction into marketing communication in the corporate. I would have loved to get a job maybe in a broadcasting firm. I interviewed, but I was never called back. Okay. And I didn't want to go to newspaper. So when I got to the corporate communication department, I realized that it's actually in a way the same thing. It's just now me being able to apply all my knowledge, get ideas, and be able to get those ideas to the business and use that to promote what the business does and things like that. Okay, from being an officer in the department, I rose to heading that department and combining it with customer service. So I headed the department as corporate communication and customer service department. And that actually brought me closer to marketing, communication, working with sales and all that. And yes, that's my introduction to marketing in the corporates.
All right, marketing. Now, let's spend some time try to understand even the term itself, marketing. I'm imagining that there are a lot of people out there who do not even know what the term mean or what you do mean to them because probably they are new here. So, what do you have to say? How do you describe marketing?
Yes, so for someone who doesn't have knowledge of marketing, I would say that marketing is taking everything you can find, everything that can help you to promote and project the businesses or the activities, the products and the services of the organization where you work, whatever you have that can help you to project that to the public, whatever you can use to make people know about the organization, the brand, its products, its services, using all those things to project that business to the public. That is, in a nutshell, marketing. Okay. And of course, communication becomes the vehicle that carries those things that you do. Marketing involves using relevant communication channels, but that also involves knowing who the audience are, because sometimes the audience also would require that you choose a particular kind of channel in order to reach them. There's a saying we used to say those days in mass communication by Marshall McLuhan, that the medium is the message. So if you want to use a particular channel to reach out, you would know that that would eventually be what carries your message to the audience you are reaching. And if they are not the right kind of channel to reach that audience, you might not be able to get the message across. Okay. And let me also add that marketing involves strategic planning. It involves strategic planning and it involves tactical execution. So you discover that a marketing team or a marketing department is a place of ideas. It's a place of ideas. And sometimes if you don't understand what happens there, you'll just be asking yourself, what are they even doing? You know, what are they even doing? That you just say, I need this to marketing. Okay, they will tell you, okay, we'll get back to you. Because they will need to sit down and think about how to put that's your need together, put a solution together to meet that your need in the way that it will really solve the problem it is expected to solve. So that's marketing communication in a nutshell. Now, going to in the digital economy, it then means using digital exposure to reach your publics, okay? Using digital channels. I talked about channels as a major part of marketing. Using digital channels to do the things that you do in marketing. Today, we can talk about social media. We can talk about email marketing. We can talk about SEO, search engine optimization, and all that has to do with digital space, everything about digital that you can apply in getting the message out there. That is marketing communication in the digital space.
All right, that is very interesting now. We're looking at digital marketing. Now, how do we draw the line between traditional marketing and digital marketing? Could you please help us to understand what is the difference between the two for somebody who might be wondering, are there even differences between what they might understand as traditional marketing and digital marketing? What do you say about that?
Yes, so what is the difference between doing marketing now in the digital age and doing it when it wasn't this way? One major difference is speed of getting the message out. The speed of getting the message out, because when you are talking about marketing right now, just take the email marketing, for instance. You package the message and in front of your laptop, you put the email addresses together and just send that mail maybe to 1,000 contacts, and you have reached 1,000 people personally. You have reached 1,000 people personally, and that is speed, okay? Another thing is costs in terms of what it takes you to be able to do this. Even though here in our part of the world, it would appear that some of these platforms appear expensive because they are priced in another currency. But when you put them side by side, the traditional means of communication, you would discover that it's still not that expensive. So digital marketing is actually not as expensive as the traditional way of marketing, because like I just gave an example now, you have reached 1,000 people by just one click of sending an email, and you can be sure that some people are going to open that mail, get your message, and get back to you sometimes immediately, sometimes in the next day, sometimes the next week. And that takes me to the other point, which is feedback, okay? Quick feedback. You can get feedback and be able to know if someone has received your message or not. Meanwhile, if it was in, say, a radio channel, today it's even good in a way that you can have phone-in programs that people can call in, but that's not in all cases. If there is a news cast on radio, for instance, and something is said about an organization, you don't call the radio station back immediately and say you want to say you want to reach that organization, and so an organization places an advert on radio, and then you hear the advert, you have to now look for a way to get across to them. But you as an individual get the message. You're able to send a message to an individual from the comfort of your office, and the person gets back to you. And the other thing I like to say is being able to evaluate what you do easily, analytics. And this is big today for digital marketing, because it's a major way to improve what you do, major way to improve your business, major way to improve your tactics, your strategy in marketing. If you don't know how well the one you have done has performed, you wouldn't know how better to do it, what to reduce, what to increase, what to adjust, and things like that. So that's the chance to be able to analyze and review your results is actually a very good thing for digital marketing.
That is highly valuable, the feedback, because that is, I think that is fall in line with what you were saying before at the beginning of this response, talking of the speed. And of course, it's also very important to understand if the information we are putting out there are even getting followed up by the people, if there are good response from it. So the feedback is going to be very vital in this sense. That led me to even wonder more, what can be the role of communication in marketing, and in the overall, the role of marketing in the economy, because none of them is actually existing in isolation. I believe everything is connected. So what is your take on that?
Yes, this is a very important question, because sometimes you're not able to pin down how what you do or what other people do connects to the economy in general. But let's just put it properly in perspective. I've been talking about how businesses leverage proper channels to reach to their audience, to their publics, as we say it. And that connection actually makes the economy to move. For businesses to be able to bring to the knowledge of the public what they do, what they have, the solutions they can offer, is something that helps the economy to move. It helps the people to be able to take a decision on how to manage their finances. It helps the people to be able to take a decision on how to invest their resources, where to get what they need. Okay, so that is one of the major ways it helps, because okay, look at it again now. We are having this conversation. You are in another part of the world, and we are leveraging technology. Digital communication is what it is. I talked about one of the differences being speed. Do you know that between 2020, when COVID came, and now, it's become much easier for people to reach out and have conversation and be able to close deals because of channels like what we are using right now. And that was not so prominent prior to COVID-19. Okay, so, and that is one way that you can talk about digital channels as something that improves the economy, because you would have been thinking, you would have seen me on LinkedIn, and you are thinking, how can I even have a conversation with this man? And you're just, even if you were in the same city with me, I would have to leave the house, go get into the car, drive to a studio, and all that and all. That's man hour. That is time being taken that could have been applied to other things. Okay, but the fact that people are in their own comfort of their homes or offices, and they can still have a meeting, they can still have a conversation that will yield. I mean, today in marketing, we utilize webinar as part of the channels that we use to reach people. That means You reduce the cost of arranging for a conference because you can now have that conference virtual, and people would attend and learn the same thing, or even more they would have learned going to a physical location. So all these ways, it helps, okay? And both businesses and the individuals leverage this. Both business and individuals leverage this. You can even see that even in politics, politicians, they will have to be promoted. Their personal brands will have to be promoted for them to get to the people they need to reach, okay? And all the activities that go on in the name of those campaigns actually help people to improve their own personal businesses. The person who gets that job, the people that work for the person, and things like that, all that add to the building of the economy in general.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Ike. You see, I'm really like wondering, looking at maybe the Nigerian African economy and the role that the marketers are playing there in making sure that people understand what is going on. Because, following your explanation, we can really see the highly valuable contribution that marketing is making to the economy in general. Because, of course, somebody that is somewhere in Kaduna and I want to consume a product that is produced either in Imo State or Edo State, or somebody that is living in Ibadan, I want to consume product that is coming from somewhere in the north. Of course, it's going to find the work of marketers highly valuable in this sense, because now you know what is happening in the market. You know what is your relationship you need as a person. So I think all these are really highly valuable information in the growing of the economy, because everything is sort of working together.
Let me start from talking about how businesses take advantage of the digital space and the opportunities it brings to be able to make their business activities better in Africa, in Nigeria in particular. And I will start by talking about what I said earlier concerning virtual meetings. That's one way we have breached the issue of always people being on the road because they want to have a conversation. So you discover that even small businesses, those days working in some other organizations, you want to have a meeting with a vendor who is still a small business. The vendor has to come to the office, and so that you can have a face-to-face meeting. But today, we just place a call, or we just go into a virtual conversation like this and be able to understand ourselves, except there's now a real need for the person to show up in the office and then maybe look at one particular item or the other because they need to produce that and things like that. So that's one way people are taking advantage of that. People are not shying away from that. The next thing I would like to touch on this one is being able to even promote their businesses online. The social media has become a place where people, small businesses, are able to put out what they do. Social media in particular, they're able to put out what they do easily, and they're able to connect with people to patronize their business. In fact, I was talking with someone a few days back concerning Instagram, because the person shared a link with me where someone talked about the fact that Instagram is not meant for direct sales, that it's just a place to get people's emotion towards your brand. And I said, yes, I agree. And I said to the person, but have you seen that in our own environment, people actually do direct sales on Instagram and they actually succeeding in it. So sometimes some of these things can be applied according to the area where the business operates. In our environment in Nigeria, you discover that people are making sales on Instagram. And these are small businesses operating in their homes. All that you need to do is to connect with them on Instagram. They deliver your service, deliver the what you have bought to you, and that is helping businesses to move quickly. Then we talk about video platforms like TikTok as another place where people are also promoting their small businesses. You can just do a quick video on TikTok and it's out there for you and you're able to reach out to people. Okay, now you talked about data. You talked about research. That is one other way that the digital space helps us to easily get information that we need. I talked about analytics as part of the reasons digital marketing is better than the older type of marketing, because you can actually go through the analytics platforms and be able to know who stays where, which parts of the country are people reaching out to you from, and be able to target people like that, okay, with your message and be able to reach them. You discover that if a business is in Nigeria, operating in Nigeria, most of the tractions will come from Nigeria. But you can reduce it, bring it down to within Nigeria, which states are they coming from? Are they coming from Lagos? Are they coming from? So that helps you to know these are people that are interested in this type of thing, and you will be able to now target them. Are they men? Are they women? What's their age? What kind of digital device are they using to connect? All these are possible, okay, through digital channels. So, and as far as I know, working in marketing communication in this country and engaging with businesses, even as my business strategy consulting, okay, gives me opportunity, people leverage all these channels, okay, to do their business and make it better. And I'm speaking of small businesses. Of course, big businesses are out there doing great things, leveraging the digital channels also.
All right, that led me to something that is we're sort of having on in Obehi Podcast and in everything that we do is storytelling. In that I find storytelling to be vitally important in everything that we do because it connects to all of us wherever we might find ourselves and whatever we might be doing. If what we are doing is in relation to other people, because people communicate more with story rather than data. So looking at you as a marketer, looking at you as an expert in marketing communication, would you like to share with me maybe the role of story in what you do?
Yes, so storytelling is a very important tool in marketing today because marketing in general actually plays on people's emotions. And if you must get people's attention easily, you look at what gets at them, what makes them to feel good or feel sad or feel anxious, and you leveraging on fear and hate and things of that nature, all those kind of emotions to be able to get people's attention is very good. Now, depending on the type of business that one does, it becomes necessary that you are able to creatively put possibly use cases together and put them together as a story in video formats and or even written formats to be able to reach out to your target. Okay, so it's a very good tool, but like I said, earlier when I was talking about marketing communication and what it means, I said it always requires strategic planning and tactical execution. It's important that we know how to apply storytelling, so that we can get the right result, so that we can target the right audience, so that we can put together what that audience would be attracted to, what would reach them easily. You can tell a story and it doesn't make sense to the people you are reaching because it doesn't resonate with them. Okay, you can tell a story and it can generate a buzz. Okay, people are talking about it, but it's not leading them to take action on the business. So all these are things that need to be properly planned, properly put together, and so that when the story is executed, it can do what it ought to do, what it's expected to do.
Thank you so much for that explanation, Dr. Ike. Now, I'm wondering, because you are an expert in communication and, of course, marketing, both of them go hand in hand here, would you like to share with me what is the role of communication or effective communication in marketing? I think some people want to learn that from you. Please go ahead and help us understand that.
Yes, so I described communication earlier as the vehicle that carries the message, the marketing message, to the people that we want to reach. So effective communication requires then that we know the target market that we want to reach and the right channel to reach them, so that we can properly package the message. Remember that communication is always seen as the sharing of messages in terms of ideas, in terms of written communication, in terms of words spoken from one end to the other, sharing such message. And it involves packaging it, which in my elementary mass communication we would call encoding. So when you are packaging it, you have in mind who you want to reach, because that's going to affect the way you package. Some of us in communication, we are not afraid to meet any audience, because all that we need to do is to understand the audience. And we speak to them in the language they understand. I mean, if I want to do something in a community, for instance, and that community is predominantly of the Yoruba extraction, and maybe I don't know how to speak Yoruba fluently, and I must reach them, all I need to do is to get someone who can speak Yoruba and let the person understand what I'm trying to pass across. Maybe the person will just do the talking. I may not even do any time interpretation and all that. But the important thing is that I'm reaching them the way they would understand. It's not that I want to come and show them that I've learned, I know how to speak big grammar, I know all those things. No. Communication requires that you reach the people in the language they understand, so that, because you are trying to solve a problem, you are trying to meet a need, you are trying to pass a message. If the person on the other end is not able to get the message because of noise or distraction, we have not achieved the goal. We have not achieved communication. And that noise or distraction can be the language barrier. So in applying communication for marketing, choose the right kind of channel for your audience. That's why it's important that you understand the audience you are reaching. If you are reaching an audience that they're not well educated, then of course, that is why if you see in Nigeria, many times when the government wants to pass a message, these days it's not really happening as much as it used to do. Those days you have National Orientation Agency trying to pass a message to the public concerning a particular way of life they want people to change in. You will see that they will translate it. It will have the English version of that campaign. It will have the Igbo version, the Hausa version, the Yoruba version, these three languages being the most dominant, languages among all other languages in Nigeria. And then you now have the Pidgin version, which is more general also for us in Nigeria. Why? Because they want to reach everyone that must hear that message. So if you understand your audience, you have to put together your message the way they would understand, so that you can remember that you are trying to promote the product, the service, the brand. If you don't package the message well, you will not be able to promote effectively.
I appreciate your response. That is really highly valuable, and that is also in line with what we are continuously talking about, either in Obehi Podcast or in our LinkedIn audio room, where we are continuously talking about storytelling, either from the point of view of business or storytelling in general. So I think it is important that we pay attention to the person or the people that we are talking to. In this case, we are looking at our audience. And I like the way that you are putting in that we need to go to their level. That is fundamentally important. I think it is actually the basis of setting up our communication if we want to be able to reach the people, and if you want it to be effective. Because I think communication now is going to be based on whether the people actually understand what we are communicating to them, and not the amount of grammar or how eloquently we might sound. So I really thank you for that. That is highly valuable in regarding the conversation of the day.
Yes, and so let me just add something to that. You just mentioned you get to a community, you want to pass a message that's supposed to be a message of joy, but you meet war there. And so understanding the people and their culture becomes very important also in trying to understand them, because if you don't understand the culture of a people, you can just bump into them anyhow, and you will get the reverse of the kind of results you are expecting. We have had instances of campaigns that were beautifully packaged by organizations to communicate a particular product to a particular region, and without knowing that the way they have put the campaign together would not appeal to that region because of the cultural dimension to it. Okay, you have an example of a particular brand that had a campaign that showed someone who took a particular product, who was lying down and took a particular product and then started standing up. But since other people read things in the reverse order, they read from right to left. So when they watched that thing, what it communicated to them was that this person was agile, was running, but immediately he took that particular product, he fell and probably died. And this affected that campaign. But if the people who packaged the campaign took their time to study the culture of those people first, they wouldn't have packaged it that way. Of course, they had to revise that campaign. Okay, so that is why the people that you are trying to reach matters a lot in communication and packaging a message for marketing. Yeah.
Before we're talking about the importance of communication in marketing, and now I'm also thinking of the technological know-how, looking at the possibility of leveraging technology in what we are doing in today's economy, because I think that is going to be very important now. And of course, if you look around, particularly within the area where you are working, which is marketing and communication, you would have heard of names like artificial intelligence or AI. And many people are sort of scared of that because they don't know what it is, they don't know how to use it, and sometimes they don't even want to confront it. And what I often say is that you need to look at whatever is in front of you as tool. You are going to be the one to use those tools. The tools are not going to use you. But of course, if you are not intelligent enough to use the tools that you have, the tools of the age, usually we'll call it, Then, of course, the tools will use you because there is no room for neutrality here. And tools have always been used since the ancient time. Before the pyramid could be built, tools were already in use. It literally means devising a way to be able to make our work better. So saying that, okay, this is AI, I'm not going to use it, well, you are just cheating yourself. Because the other people that are using it are going to go far ahead of you, and you are going to be on the ground and just tilling with a hoe. So I think these are going to be very important in our communication, particularly in the economy of today, which is the knowledge-based economy. I don't think there is any room for neutrality here.
So you just mentioned the word tools. Having good technological know-how for marketing requires knowing the tools that are available in various aspects of marketing. Okay, you have, for instance, content management system tools that basically can be used to work on websites and similar platforms. Tools like WordPress, for instance, to manage what happens building a website and putting in content there, managing the content. Tools like Joomla also. These are some of the tools that you can use for content management. And then if you don't know anything about them, there are also people who specialize in various aspects of marketing. Beyond people like us who deal in strategy, part of marketing, you can now have people who are, for instance, someone who is a website designer, for instance, and they can utilize tools like that to give you what you want. You tell them, this is what I want. They pick such tools and they give you what you want. And then you come to social media management. Of course, you can also have tools like Hootsuite, which can help you to update your social media easily. You can now easily be able to schedule your message, post on this platform, post on that platform at this particular time, and you are able to do that. There are a number of tools in that direction. And then I talked about email marketing earlier. Again, email marketing has different tools that you can utilize. I think one of the most popular ones is MailChimp, and that actually helps you to reach more people than you can. Instead of sending them mail one by one, you can just schedule and send the mail at once and then get the results, know who opened, who did not open, and things like that. And then another type of area of marketing that also involves tools is search engine optimization. How do you know what is happening with your website, with your channels and all that? Search engine optimization tools like SEMrush and all that can help. But also when it comes to analytics, this is a very major part of it. Analytics, okay? I said that that's one major reason digital marketing is better than the traditional marketing, because you can easily be able, I made an explanation earlier how you can know where your audience are coming from and things like that. So Google Analytics, for instance, helps to do that, and you will just discover that you are able to track what has happened on this site during this period, and that you want to present it in a beautiful way. You can even go beyond Google Analytics to talk about Tableau, and then talk about Power BI. And so you have beautiful presentation that can help you reach stakeholders easily. So yeah, there are all these tools, and knowing them, at least having a knowledge of them, or you might not directly use them because of the area of digital of marketing the person is applying, but at least have knowledge of them so that you can know, okay, this is what needs to be done whenever there is need for it.
Talking of technological know-how and the use of tools, I want to pay attention to a lot of people on the internet who are really amateur. Many people on the internet are amateur. They don't know how to use the tools of the age or even how to move around. That is just the truth, because on the internet we now have more than 5 billion people. So they need to know how to use the tool. And looking at you as a communication expert in marketing, where do you think they should start from, or in learning how to upgrade their technological know-how for the purpose of marketing?
Marketing at the most basic level requires being able to write. And word processing tool like Microsoft Word becomes something that someone who does marketing, you know how to use. Okay. And then Microsoft PowerPoint also, because you will have need to make presentations. And at the most basic level, the person should know how to use these tools. And they are pretty easy to learn, because once you are engaging with them and you are open-minded, you will keep discovering things about them, that you are able to write something on Microsoft Word, edit that thing, and be able to put them the way it should be, to be able to pass message across to someone. So you get to know which part of Microsoft Word can I use for my editing and things like that. How do I now move the thing I have written to PowerPoint, for instance, so that I can use it to present? Okay, if we don't get to these levels to start from, it will now be difficult for us to even move to other higher levels. And let me also say that someone who is starting new today has higher advantage, because the person can also easily get onto YouTube and any other platform and easily learn some of these things. Okay, so, and not be shy about learning them. Those days in the university, we learned photography as one of the things to use in communication. Today, with your digital device, your mobile phone, that is a smartphone, you can keep practicing how to take pictures until you become a master in it. So I just say the person who is just starting in this area should be open-minded and be ready to learn.
All right, thank you so much for that, Dr. Ike. Now, I want to believe that the people that are listening to you now, they want to connect with you. So what is the best way to reach out to you, or why not also to do business with you? Please share with them.
Okay, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Nwakerendu Ike, PhD. You will see it there. You can connect with me there, and we can always chat from that place. And you can also connect with me on other social media platforms at Nwakerendu Ike, both on Instagram and on Facebook, and on Threads and on Twitter. So I can be reached through any of these channels. And yeah, my email address, iko@gmail.com.
So those who are looking for a way to reach out to Dr. Ike, now you have the chance to be able to reach out to him if you want to learn more from what we have discussed today. And of course, what we have discussed today is about understanding marketing communication in the digital economy. And these are really be highly valuable, what you have shared with me, Dr. Ike. Looking back to how we started, what would be your final thought here? Maybe a message, or maybe you want to retouch a point that you find valuable to you or you find important to you. Please go ahead and do that.
It's just to emphasize what you said earlier, that the digital space is still expanding, and we need to be open-minded, accept that these things have come to stay, and not to be shy about using them, learn about them, have an understanding of how they work, and try to apply them as much as you can, because these things have come to make our lives better. They've come to make our lives better, and we should be open-minded about utilizing them. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your sharing and your contribution here. And of course, I understand that also the audience, those that are listening to us now, either on YouTube or wherever they are listening to Obehi Podcast, certainly find value in what you are saying. And of course, for those of you who have not yet subscribed to our channel or to Obehi Podcast, I encourage you to do so. It doesn't cost you anything. And of course, do leave your comment too. If you find value in what you are doing, please leave your comment and let us understand what you find valuable in the content that we are putting out there. We are doing this for us to add value to you. So if you appreciate it, if you find value in them, just let us know by leaving your comment. And if you have not picked up any of my book, the 5-part book series on storytelling, they are available on Amazon. But perhaps maybe you want to learn more about marketing, about how to use storytelling in marketing, like we have also discussed here, looking at understanding marketing communication in the digital economy. We have a lot of courses that are available for you to take. All you need to do is to send me a message or come to academy.aclasses.org. And you can leverage it for your business so that you can stand out in what you are doing. So don't stay out there thinking that the information will come to you. It doesn't work like that. You are going to be the one to make the move. You really need to go out and look for exact information you are looking for to upgrade yourself. So it has been a pleasure here. Please come around next time where we share value again in Obehi Podcast. Thank you so much and talk to you soon.